Okay, great. Now we move to question number 2. And here is what had we asked. So here the concept here usually in question 2 is for us to find the highest common factors and the lowest common multiple. Usually you'll be given two numbers, like in this case, for example, 120 and 150. So firstly, you need to prime factorize them, okay? So that shouldn't be really difficult to do. And so what do we do? Like in this case, we've got 120 that you can prime factorize. Okay, let me just take this. So we got 120. Need some space. 120. So we need to prime factorize 120. Okay. So we start with the lowest prime, which is 2. So by 2 we get 60. By 2 we get 30. By 2 we get 15. So 2 cannot divide a number ending by 5. 2 only can divide any number ending by 0 or even number. So here we use 3. So it will be 5, and by 5 it will be 1. So in other words, 120 can be expressed as these prime factors, right? So which is 2 to 3 times 3 times 5. Okay, so so this was 120. So let's prime factorize the other number, which is 150. So we need to prime factorize it. Let me just give myself some space. Okay. So by 2, 75. By 2 is not going to work anymore. So by 3, 25. By 3 is not going to work anymore. By 4 is not going to work. By 5, 5. And then by 5, 1. In other words, 150 is equivalent to 2 times 3 times 5 exponent 2, right? Because these are the prime factors just expressed. So once you've got those two here, okay, and again, if you're struggling to find those two, what you can do maybe is just to use your calculator. Let me just take the calculator here. Oh, sorry. I think I closed my calculator. What did I do? I closed my calculator. Let me just take it. It's right here. Okay, this is my calculator. So sorry, I was sneezing here, and I would like to apologize. First of all, I've got a terrible flu, and I know that can disturb the audio, even I think my voice. I would like to apologize as well. You can feel that I've got flu. I wanted to recover first for the flu, but at the same time, I wanted to publish this video to help you learners, give you time to prepare. So kindly bear with me. Okay, so we've got our calculator here. And as I said, we can still express, let me just enlarge this. We can express, if you're struggling with prime factorization, if you got a calculator, you might also use it. I don't know which version of your calculator. So let's say you want to prime factorize 120. We type 120, we say equal. And then right here, so we got this button here, fact. So is in yellow, so we have to use the yellow shift and say fact. So we've got the factorization of it. So that's exactly what we found right here, right? And then you write it down there. So you can do the same for 150. Let me just have 0 then. So I type 150. I say equal, because I need to have it right here in the bottom so that the memory of the calculator knows what I'm working with. So shift fact, and this is the same factorization we found here, right? So these are very important. You need to find those two numbers. And once you have them, I think it's easy because you get marks. The first mark you get is here. You get 1 mark here, another mark here, basically for finding this. Okay. And then for the highest common factor, now you're going to compare these two. You take the highest common factor is the same with intersection. It means what you have on both sides. Okay? It's what you have on both sides, that intersection. So, what do I have on the left? I have 2. This base here, 2. On the right, I also have 2. That is why I write 2 here. Now, I need to take the lowest exponent. Here I've got 3. Here I have 1, right? Because I don't have anything, so it's 1. So I keep it the same. So it's 1. I don't have anything there. Times. Here I've got 3. The next factor on the left is 3. They also have 3 on the right. Yes, then I can write it. Remember, the highest common factor is the intersection. It's what the factors that I've got on both sides. If I only have on one side, I don't write it down, guys. And what's the exponent? Yes, exponent 1, exponent 1. So this is I write the lowest exponent, which is 1 as well, times. I've got 5 as my prime factor on both sides. So I write 5, exponent 1, exponent 2. So I write exponent 1. So this is my highest common factor. And 1 is 2 times 3 is 6 times 5 is 30, basically. Okay. So you can also use your calculator just to get that value. And this is how you get another mark. So you get another mark for the highest common factor. And you now also get the other mark for the lowest common multiple. They might also ask you what will be the lowest common multiple. And the lowest common multiple, guys, is the union. So what you have together here and there. Okay? Together. You put everything together. So you have 2 here. Even if you don't have so I have 2 on my left. Even if I don't have here on my right, I write 2. I have 3 here on my left. It doesn't matter. I don't have it on my right. I write it down. I have 5. I write it. If I had 8 here, no, 8 is not prime. If I had 7 here, I was going to write 7 as well. Even if I don't have it on the left. And then now I write their highest exponent. Remember, it's the union. So I include everything. So that's why I write the highest exponent. What is the highest exponent of this factor of 2? Is 3, right? What is the highest exponent of 3? Here I've got 1. Here I've got 1. So it's 1. Highest exponent of 5. Here I've got 1. Here I've got 2. So it's 2. Okay. So I can just use my calculator to find this value. So basically is 2 exponent 3. So I can use this. Okay, I go to I use my cursor. Then I say times 3. 3 exponent 1 is still 3. I don't have to write exponent 1. Then it's 5 squared, right? So this is it. So this is my answer. So it's 600. Okay. So that is it. So that is my answer. And I think that's all for this question. That's all for 2.1, right? Now let's go to question number 2. Question number 2.2. Okay, now we can move to this question, 2.2, yes. They said 2 business partners here. So this is it. So two business partners, right? Tabo and Lerato share a total profit. This is their total profit. So they share their total profit from the tax shop. Yeah, sorry. So they share total profit from the tax shop in this ratio. So what can we just use this space? So that means we have, let's just say, so we've got Tabo to Lerato, and then here you have their total. And what is the ratio here? The ratio Tabo to Lerato is 2:3, right? And so what is the total that they share is 45,000. So this 45,000 is shared in this ratio 2:3. Now they say calculate how much money Tabo. So we need to find from this money here, how much goes here for Tabo and how much goes here for Lerato, basically. This is the aim of this problem, right? So how do we do this, basically? So what I'm going to do, let me just delete this here. Let me just put the total right here below. And then here I'm going to put the total of the ratio. How many units? Here I've got 2 units. Here I've got 3 units. Remember, the ratios don't have units, basically. They are unitless. Let me call it like that. Because but here, let's say, let me have 5. So I've got 3 portions here, 3 portions here. So in total is 5 portions. So this will just help me to calculate. Let me also delete this question mark so that we can find the answer. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this 45,000 by 5. Okay. And then I'll multiply it by 2 so that I find what should go here. So 45,000, I can bring my calculator here. So let me just go this way. So it's going to be 45,000 divided by 5. Why am I dividing by 5? Because I would like to know the amount of each unit so that I can allocate them accordingly. I divide by 5 is 9,000. So after dividing, so basically I will do division here. And then from there to here, I do multiplication, right? And then from there to here, I do multiplication. So now I'm going to multiply by 2. So now I've got the 9,000 for each portion. So I multiply by 2. That's the one that will go on the left because I have 2 here, right? So this is 18,000 here. And what should come here? I need to take the same 9,000 multiplied by 3. And So I start is the same 9,000 again, or if I want, I can restart. I will do again the same 45,000 divided by 5. I get 9,000 and I multiply by 3. So it's 45,000 divided by 5. And then I multiply by 3. So this what should come here. 27,000. And these two, if you sum it up, it needs to give you back 45,000, right? So you can just verify is your calculation okay. So that is it, guys. So the first step in such question is to sum the unit of this ratio into this. Okay, and then you take the total amount that must be split, you divide by this number, and then you're able to allocate according to the numbers of your ratio. Okay, so that is it for question 2.2. So that means Tabo earned 16,000 and Lerato earned 27,000. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Right here. Okay, great. A local supermarket sells 5 kilograms bag of potatoes, while a 2 kilogram pocket costs 36 rand. Solve this rate problem by calculating the price per kilogram for each option to determine which option is the cheapest. Okay, so it looks like we've got two options here. So we got, let's see, option 1. So option 1, we have, so we can express, so these are ratio problems again. So what are we comparing in the ratio? Here we've got the kilograms versus the price in rand. So they say in option 1, when you buy 5 kilogram, it's for what? For 85.50. Okay, that's option 1. Now in option 2, what have you got in option 2? Because these are problems that normally occurs in real life. When you go to the shop, you come across such situations and you need to make a fast decision. You know, which one is the best cost-effective way to buy. Or you need to tell your grandmother who doesn't really know mathematics to say, Grandma, go, this is the best offer. So again, so we've got kilograms versus price. And in the second option here, when you buy 2 kilograms, you buy 2 kilograms for the cost of 36. For the cost of 36, okay? So we need to compare. And they gave us a hint here on how to compare. Okay, the hint on how to compare, they say by calculating the price per kilograms for each option. So what we should derive now, we need to get, when we have 1 here, what will be the price? For each kilograms, what is the price? Okay? So that's what will enable us to know where do we have the better deal. Okay. So again, these are ratios, and remember, ratios and fractions are all related. It's the same thing, same concept. And then what is happening here? What do we do? What do we find? What will be the price here? From the first line from this line to the next line, what happened? We divided by what? We divided by 5, right? From 5 to 1, we divided by 5. So this is exactly what will happen here. From this, we need to also divide by 5 to find what should be the answer there. So we go to our calculators again once more. I'm going to have 85.50. Sorry, not multiplication. We need to divide, divided by 5. Okay, maybe I need to write it in decimal, so I need to use this one. This button. Okay, so this will give me 17.10 cents basically. So in option 1, every kilograms cost 17.10 cents rand. Now let us go. What will happen in the second option? Again, we need to do the same process. Sorry again, I was just trying to blow my nose and yeah. Okay, now let's move. Let me just delete this and see what we got here. So how do I find? So what happened from 2 to 1 basically is division by 2. Okay, so you have to divide by 2. So let's just do this. So you divide by 2. Sorry, you divide this by 2, and whatever you do on the left, you should also do on the right. You divide by 2. So what you get 18 there. I don't need to use a calculator. So here, this is the price, 17 rand and 10 cents, and this is the price, 18 rand. So where is cheaper? Option 1 is cheaper, right? Option 1. And the marks, you should not get allocated marks just by saying option 1 is cheaper. They need to see that you try to calculate. They need to see this. You find those two numbers. And you apply the ratio, right? Accordingly. So this is what the teacher would like to see. Okay, great. Now let's go to the next one, 2.4. So the next type of problems you can have basically is about this type of exercise, simple interest, okay, or exchange rate. So you have this type of problems to solve. Now let's solve this problem. Remember, okay, Mrs. Kumalo invests 8,000 in a savings account at a financial institution that offers a simple interest. Simple interest rate at 6.5% per annum. This is very important. So we got a simple interest rate at 6.5% per annum. So we don't use this value. You need to convert this. This is basically 6.5%. Remember, we said it means over 100. And this basically simply means 0.065. So this is the same decimal. So this is the decimal that we're going to use. If you struggle to express this as this decimal, basically, let's go back to the calculator. Do I have a percentage here? I'm sure I must have a percentage. So I've got 6.5. Let me just check quickly about the percentage. think I must have percentage somewhere. I'm sure some of you would have seen it already. Percent should be there. Okay, yeah, there it is in yellow, right? So it means you need to do a shift, and if you say equal, then you put it in decimal. There it is, right? So this is how you express this in decimal, because you're going to use it here. Now remember, you learned that in your financial math, grade 8, that the accumulated amount for a simple interest problems equals the principal amount times 1 plus the interest rate times the number of years. And this is basically the formula. Okay. Now in this case, what is the principal amount? It's the amount that you invest. In this case here, this is the principal, the one you started with. It was 8,000. And what is your interest rate here? We found the value that you need to write. So here it's 0,065. What is the amount of years? Here they say 4 years. I think it's written here, 4 years. So this n, basically it is 4. So what you do, you just plug everything in the formula. So let's do this substitution. Then the accumulated amount after 4 years will be 8,000. 1 plus 0,065 times 4. So what we do, we just take our calculator and then we calculate, we just type everything. So we've got, so we're going to have 8,000. Let me just reset everything. 8,000, open bracket, 1 plus 0,065 times 4, close bracket, equals. So this is what the money that we would accumulate after 4 years. So let's come back to it. It will be 10,080 cents. So of course it's in rand. So that's the amount. Okay, so that's it for 2.4. I'm sure we are done with question 2. Now we can move to question 3. Okay, question 3 here, again, it's about exponent. Okay, so it's your skill about exponent. Remember, when you're multiplying like base, what you end up having basically is the sum of exponents. Suppose you have a exponent 3 times a exponent, let's say 8. So the law of exponents say you'll have a times 3 plus 8, right? Which is a exponent 11. So in this case, basically, what you end up having is the a exponent x plus y, right? Because that's the first law. And the next one, you know, when you have a exponent 2 inside the bracket, let's say exponent 4, what you end up having, it's you multiply the exponent inside the bracket times the one outside the bracket. So it's a exponent 2 times 4 in this case. So in this case, what will happen? So you'll have a exponent x times y. You see, because here is a exponent 8. So you need to know those two difference. Okay. Okay, 3.2. Calculate the exact numerical value of the expression below. Okay, the exact numerical value. So what you do in this instance, you can use your calculator if you need help or assistance, but otherwise you can start with the first term here. So this would be minus 3 because 27 with the cube root is going to give you 3. So the cube root of negative is negative. The cube root of 27 is 3. So plus. And then here from this mixed fraction, you can just have what you call, they call it an improper fraction, I think. So you left 2 times 1 plus 1. So it's 3. So you divide by 3 over 4 minus. And then if you multiply these two, so you're going to get 1.2. Right? You get 1.2. So, or instead of 1.2, you could express this 0.3 as a fraction. So it's 3 over 10 times 4. Still the same thing. Okay, so let me just delete this. So I'm sure this one you've seen it before. Let me get rid of it so that we've got space. Okay, so here we've got now we've got minus 3 plus. So open bracket, this is 3 over 2 times, remember division with a fraction is to multiply the inverse. So it's 4 over 3. Okay. Okay, again, I was blowing my nose. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to get minus. And then here I can simplify already. So by 2, I get 2. By 2, I get 5. So I end up having 3 times 2, which is 6 over 5. Okay, so what do I get here? This is minus 3 plus. Now I can multiply this. Okay, here also I can simplify. Okay, by 2, I get 2. By 2, I get 1. And then by 3 is 1. And 3 is 1. So now I'm having 1 times 2, which is 2, over 1. Minus 6 over 5. So now I get minus 3 plus 1 minus 6 over 5. Right? This is minus 2 minus 6 over 5. Okay, so it's still fine. If you don't want to do this exercise, you can still take your calculator. If you don't want to go the way I did, you can still take your calculator. You see, but the aim here was showing all order of operations, step by step. So the aim here is for you to show the order of operation. Okay? So let's see. Suppose you didn't want to go by yourself this way. Okay, let's just finish with the final answer. Final answer here, I would have 5 as a common denominator. And then here, so it means here the denominator is 1 basically because it's not there. So I'll do 5 divided by 1 is 5 times negative 2, which is negative 10. Minus 5 divided by 5 is 1 times negative 6. And this will give me negative 16 over 5. Okay, great. Now, suppose you could also have used your calculator to help you do the same order of operations. So let me just delete this. I'm going to delete this. Okay. I think the first thing you would do is to calculate this first order of operation. Okay, so you take your calculator. So you will do, sorry, let me just bring this right here. So you would, let me reset. You will do the cube root. And we got the cube root here, right there. Shift cube root of negative 27. So this is the first thing you want to calculate, right? Let me just put it here. So cube root. So I'm going to write my answer here. So I say equal negative 3. So this was the first order of operation. 3, negative 3. And now you say plus. And then you will want to deal with the bracket inside. But I'm sure here you would like to convert this, right? So you would like to first, okay, I think you would like to change these fractions. Let's see if we can do that here. So I'm sure it's here. Shift, we've got this. So if we got 1 here, and then we've got 1 and 2 at the bottom, what have we got? Is 3 over 2. So we open our bracket here. So this is 3 over 2. And then we can already replace times. We can replace the division by times, and we inverse. You see? We inverse the second fraction here, because that's how you divide fractions. So you're going to do 4 over 3. And then you close bracket. And then minus. And now we go to the last operation here. 0, 3. We can do 0, 3 times 4. Okay, so, and then we write this fraction here. This is another clever way to show to the teacher that you've got some sort of insight and you try to do it manually, right? So, and from here, what would be the next step? So you got minus 3. Next order of operation here will be multiplication, because you cannot do addition or subtraction before you do multiplication here. So you keep the same. So minus 6 over 5, but you need to do this bracket first. And remember, you must first start with the bracket. And now you take your calculator. So you do this fraction is 3 over 2 times, again, fraction, 4 over 3 equal. So, and then you have 2 here. So you can write your 2 here. Okay, so there it is. So step 1, step 2. And now you can take your calculator to finish it off. You can now write everything. So you've got minus 3 plus 2. And then minus, did you write your fraction, which is 6 over 5. So it's over 5, not over 6, over 5. And then, so the final answer here, it's minus so the final answer here is minus 11 over 5. So there was a mistake somewhere here. Oh yeah, the mistake is here. This was 2 over 1. It's not 1, it's 2. And yeah, of course, after that, so here we get minus 1. Okay, so Okay, let's just fix it. So this was supposed to be 2, and this is supposed to be minus 1 over 6 over 5, and common denominator is 5. So if there's nothing here, it means we got 1 here. So 5 divided by 1 is 5 times negative 1 is minus 5. And then 5 divided by 5 is 1 times. So it's going to give negative 6. And the answer would be minus 11 over 5. Okay, so yeah. Okay, great. So we're done with that. We're done with this exercise. And we can go to the next one. Okay, the next one, simplify the following exponent expression using exponent laws. Okay, so I think here we need some space. I'll have to delete this. I'm going to use my lasso to select everything here and delete. Okay. So what do I have here in 3.3? And so when I'm solving this type of problems, I first need to start with a bracket, right? And remember the law of exponent here. When I have this case, x squared, y cubed, everything over 3. So my first aim is first to remove this bracket here. So I need to remove this bracket. And the only way I do that is by multiplying. Remember the law says you must always do exponent inside times exponent outside. So this will give us x exponent inside times exponent outside times, and then we take y. What was its exponent inside was 3. The exponent outside is also 3. So this, we end up having x exponent 6 times y exponent 9. So this is how we remove the bracket, by applying this law. Okay? And this is what we need to do here. So let me write my fraction bar. I'm going to have x exponent. So I can do the multiplication already. So 2 times 3 is 6 times y exponent. 3 times 3 is 9 times. So let me just, this must be clear. This is 9. Okay, let me just write 9. I'm sure it's clear. It's 9 times x to the 4 times y to y exponent 1 over, let me just zoom in, maybe it's not very clear. And now down here I've got x exponent 8 times y exponent 5. Okay, so we were able to remove the bracket. Okay, right now we can now express the law. Remember, you also have the exponential law that says when you have a fraction, suppose you have x exponent 5 times x exponent maybe 2 over x exponent 3. What do you get? So basically, this will give us x exponent, because this, if we are in the numerator, this x is also in the numerator, we don't change the exponent. So we have 5. This is also positive, we don't change. But because this is on the denominator, we change it. Because we took it from the denominator to the numerator. Because remember, this x is now a numerator, right? So this is how we combine these laws. And this will give you 5. No, sorry. x to the x exponent 4, right? So we do the same here. Now we can just write x. We combine everything, x. So we have 6 here. And then the next x is 4. So just add 4. And then the next x is below is 8. So it's minus 8. Because it's a denominator, we need to change the sign of it. Right? Times, or we use times, or we just use a dot to denote multiplication. Then y, we've got y, the exponent. So the first exponent here is 9. We take it as it is. The next exponent is 1. Even if it was not written there, we know it's 1. So if we take the exponent here, it's plus 1. And below we have 5. So we change the sign of it because it was on the denominator. And this we can now work out our exponent. It's x exponent. This will be 10 minus 8. It will be 2 times y exponent. This will be 10 minus, it will be 5. So this is our final answer. I don't know if it's really clear.